Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another comic book review. And today we're going to take a look at Power Rangers number 5 from Boom Studios, which is written by Ryan Parrott with artwork by Francesco Martorino. And I've been very impressed with the Power Rangers books. There's two series going on at the same time here with two different teams. You have the Power Rangers, and then you have Mighty Morphin. And you get, one of each book out a month. You get like every other week a new one comes out, so that's pretty good. And I never really watched the Power Rangers as a kid. I do vaguely remember watching one of the movies from like the late 90s, I want to say. And I'm pretty sure, it's a Japanese show, and like they kept the footage from it's from Saban Entertainment, and they kept the footage and, just dubbed English voice actors over it. And I vaguely remember one of the movies. I never really watched the show, though. But the comics have been heavily recommended to me by commenters. And I've seen reviews of the comics. And I said, let me check it out at some point. So I have been reading it for quite a while. I have the other, when I finish reading, I bag and board my book. So like I said, the first 5 issues of every series. You have Mighty Morphin and then regular Power Rangers. And essentially, the Mighty Morphin is the regular team of Power Rangers. You see this crew right here. And the Power Rangers is just 3 of them. The yellow, the red, and the black ranger. Trini, Jason, and Zach. And then Drokon, I believe his name is, who's a villain who they've sort of recruited to face this evil threat known as the Imperials. Whereas Mighty Morphin, you have the whole team, like you just saw on the cover here, being introduced to the Green Ranger. It's a new Green Ranger who they don't know who it is quite yet. And I'll just flip through Mighty Morphin real quick. It's like sort of almost manga style artwork. Very good. And this Green Ranger has sort of appeared and they don't know who he is, and he's been recruited to help them. And overall, it's fun. A lot of great action, fun dialogue, and I've been very impressed. But anyway, the main review here is Power Rangers number 5. And like I said, you have the last issue, number 4. They were in a spaceship in space fighting these aliens, and their ship got damaged. They landed on this other planet here, planet Onyx. So you have Jason and Zach here, the red and black ranger, sort of like in an Old West type planet, and their incognito gear here. So they go into the saloon, and they're looking for a character to speak with, and it's this guy here. So he's the gambler, and they got to play his game. Meanwhile, it cuts over here to Trini with Drukon and the robot man in the ship. And Drukon here, or Drokon, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but he was a former Power Ranger. That's what I'd get out of it. This whole storyline's been going on since 2018, I believe. And they've sort of rebooted the series a few times, carrying over, like rebooting it as in changing the numbering. But it's been going on, the storyline, since 2018. And he's a villain who they've sort of recruited. He was in jail. And they've recruited him to face this threat known as the Imperials. So, they win the gambling, sort of card game against this guy. And turns out he's cheating. And then this woman shows up at Astronema, the Princess of Evil. And she's here to kill the Power Rangers. And they're like, oh, there's no Power Rangers here. And it's like, oh, yeah, there is. And so these guys are the Omega Power Rangers. And they morph into their suits here. It's morphin' time. Omega Firepower, Omega Wind Power. And they change in their Power Ranger costumes. Fight and battle. And then the SPD shows up, which is the Space Patrol. And they arrest them. And that's sort of that. So that cuts back to Trini here talking to the robot. And he reveals in the past, and there's this guy who was friendly with Zordon, who's this blue guy who sort of gives the Power Rangers all their objectives. He's right here, Zordon. So they've arrested Jason and Zach for causing a ruckus there at the saloon. And thare like, well, what are you Power Rangers doing here? Oh, how did you know we're Power Rangers? And then he shows the message from Zordon. So in the first issue, they had taken Drukon and gone away so that they can fight the Imperials, much to Zordon's dismay. And he says, the three Rangers escaped with the war criminal Lord Dracoon, I guess that's his name, Dracoon, Drukon, whatever, in their custody. If you receive the message, it means I'm asking for your assistance to bring them to justice. They should be considered extremely dangerous and a threat to the safety of well-being. So, they're interrogating Jason, and Zack here is with the Princess of Evil, and she's like, the Power Rangers killed my family. It's like, well, we didn't do that. It was the other Power Rangers. So she's trying to kill Zack here, and they stop that. And then this guy shows up all hooded, and he's fighting Dracoon there and Trini. And he says, please, I did not come here to fight you, Power Rangers. My name is Ecliptor, and I am here because I believe we can help one another. To be continued. So I don't even know who Ecliptor is. I guess if you're a huge Power Rangers fan with the TV show and everything, you know the lore of all these characters. But me just reading the comics are fun. The artwork's great. And overall, I've had a lot of fun with them. So I'd recommend both of them. Like I said, I've read up to issue 5 of both series. And I think the first issue of each one came out back in November or December. And that was when I had my hiatus. So that's why I didn't get to review them. But I have read them all. And I can recommend it to everybody, especially if you want to get away from Marvel and DC. The independent studios do a great job. Image is doing good. Boom's doing great. I mean, you have that Keanu Reeves Berserker comic, and the first issue came out, and already they got a Netflix deal, which I think that was probably in the works from the beginning. I could have actually seen them doing the show first and then releasing a comic of that series, especially Keanu Reeves having such name recognition nowadays. He's in everything. I mean, he's in John Wick. The first 3 John Wick movies were great. They're doing the 4th one. They're doing the 4th Matrix. He was in, the video game sucked, Cyberpunk, whatever, but he was one of the main characters in the video game. He was in the new SpongeBob movie. I mean, Keanu Reeves is all over the place, man. He's great. So good to see him doing that, the comic. And I did read issue 1 of Berserker, which I bought, but it was just more of a action thing and not a whole lot of dialogue, so I felt like I couldn't do a review on it. But it was okay, I guess. Anyway, let me know what you thought of Power Rangers in the comments down below. And, if you recommend anything else with the Power Rangers series. Like I said, I just started reading the comic series. And if you recommend, any kind of show or whatever. I know they did a movie back in, 2017, too. But like I said, I saw the movie from the 90s when I was a kid. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.